Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having an amazing day. It is beautiful out here in Pittsburgh today, and I'm just hanging out on the porch and taking in everything that happened today. And I wanted to share with you some of the stuff that happened on my day. So a few weeks ago, I got called in for jury duty. And, everyone's like, oh, jury duty. I don't want to be part of this. It takes away from your routine, it takes away from everything, and, especially now everyone's so negative about getting involved with the government and thinking that it's safe or whatnot, and the patriarchy and all this. And, but I woke up this morning, and I was like, you know what? Whatever's going to happen today, it's going to be great. And there's going to be all kinds of reasons why I'm there, so I'm open to it, right? So I take the bus downtown, and it's beautiful out. I mean, just sun is out, weather's perfect, got my makeup on, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to deal with whatever's going to happen today. And I get there, and if you know the Pittsburgh courthouse, from the outside, it looks very intimidating, and it gives off this feel of just this huge, scary building that's very intimidating, and you just don't know if the people that are in there are really down for what's right, especially with all the different things that we hear in the news and the negative things that we hear about what happens with justice, right? We're always hearing in the news negative things that happen with justice. So I get in there, and it was the first time I really walked inside the courthouse. And I gotta tell you, it's one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen.
It's in downtown Pittsburgh.
I know, Mom says it's in downtown Pittsburgh. Hi, Mom. Mama Bev, making her mark. So I go inside, and I go upstairs, and it's funny how synchronicities happen. Immediately my eye caught to this table. It was a young blonde girl sitting at the table, and another woman in her mid-40s, beautiful woman, sat down beside her. And there was just something that just immediately went, you need to sit there. So I listened. And amazing things can happen in sometimes the most seemingly perceptive negative environments you could happen that you perceive you're in. We got to talking, and we got to talking more and more. And here we are in jury duty, and over the course of the entire day, we had the most beautiful conversations about life, about what it's like to be a woman, sharing intimate details. Each one of us was very honest about where we were at and what was going on, and very encouraging about listening to each other. And and we came from totally different backgrounds. The young woman was in her early 20s. She had just graduated college, full of life, and she was working as a teacher. And she was young and thinking of all these different things that were going on in her life, and looking forward to having kids, and trying to figure out how she's going to make it with a teacher's salary. And then there was this, older woman who, she had 3 kids, and she was very successful in her life, and she was very giving in lots of different ways, and I'll get to that later. And then there's me, who I'm single, I don't have kids, I do art, but we all found a way to connect and really speak each other's truths. Hey Larry, hey Katerina, hey Elizabeth. And we got to really learn from each other. No one was holding back. No, how sometimes when you're talking in conversations with people, there's masks. People will have masks. And maybe it's for image, or whatnot, but the way that this happened, and we're sitting in the middle of the courthouse in jury duty for no less. And, we're just like, hey, let's just talk real talk. And the things that I learned from them, I wanted to understand what they were about and what they were going through. And they were all open to the same thing with each other and with me. So that was one aspect, and I'll get to that. I'll go more in depth later about that. But more importantly, I really wanted to share what I experienced inside the courtroom and inside the whole process of jury duty here in Pittsburgh. So all of us were asked to go into this main room, and we were going to get introed by Judge Spurgeon, who, by the way, this guy rocks. If anybody knows in Pittsburgh Judge Spurgeon, this guy is a solid man. And he came out to address all of us and just give us a heads up on an intro of, what the law is really about and what's important. Hey, what's up, Mandosis? Good to see you. And the way that he approached the law was so beautiful. He said, I know you hear a lot of stuff in the media. We're not on television. And this is not about speculation. And this is not about because you hear something or you hear an accusation of what a defendant has been accused of does not automatically mean that he is to prove that he's innocent. As television and news have been subtly seducing us to think that that's how it is. He said, you need to realize that in the United States and here in Pittsburgh, under this law, everybody here that comes to this, if they're a defendant, they are absolutely innocent until they're proven guilty. And we need to be totally open and non-judgment of what they look like, a stereotype. We can't make speculation on the way they dress or speculation on anything. We just need to literally listen to the facts and be open to it and know that unless these facts truly, beyond a shadow of a doubt, prove that they're guilty, that they are innocent. There I go with my nose again. I think my nose just gets itchy when I talk a lot, but I sat there and I really listened. And just this overwhelming sense of peace and comfort came over me when I was listening to him, Judge Spurgeon, talk about this. And I'll tell you why. Regardless of what anyone hears in the news or the spin or the stories or the injustice, supposed injustice all the time that happens, speculation is a very, very dangerous thing. And gossip is a very, very dangerous thing. And to live in a country, regardless of the flawed things that can happen, because everybody's flawed. We're all flawed. We all see things from our limited perspective. But to live under a government that really protects the innocent from the start, or at least encourages the jurors to believe that and remind them that, hey, don't speculate, don't jump to conclusions, don't let your mind wander into speculative storytelling because it just makes sense to you in your mind without really understanding. That's very unique in the entire world. There are governments in the world that are extremely corrupt the definition of corruptness. And I mean, and you know, I'm sure all of you can understand, and you know, I'm sure that I've got friends from all kinds of different countries, and I know that you know what it's like when you're thrown into a jail, and before you even have a trial or anything, you're guilty. The gossip wins, the speculation wins, and the trial isn't solid. And the judges and the people that are in charge of what's going to happen to this person who's under speculation, who's under like a big magnifying glass, you know, they're not encouraged to protect them first to make sure that they're innocent until proven guilty. They're thrown under the bus. There's many reasons why they're thrown under the bus. I mean, if you look throughout history, especially in the 20th century with some of these countries, the truth speakers of true corruption within a government are usually set up one way or another, and they're thrown into trial, and they're thrown to jail for years and years under false accusations, and they're not given a right trial. And those are the good guys. Think of Nelson Mandela, you know. There's a lot of corruption in governments around the world, and it gave me such a huge peace. And it's not perfect, you know. Our government's not perfect, and we're not perfect. But to listen to him today and have such conviction about what his job was and what his mission was and how he needed to encourage us to be aligned with that mentality, it was very uplifting and very freeing, you know. I don't know if any of you have ever been the victim of gossip. I have, many times. I don't mean to talk about myself, you know, a lot with these videos or whatnot, but I mean, if you can understand, I share what, you know, I've experienced to open up truths of maybe what you've experienced too. And, you know, gosh, there was something, I don't know if I really want to get into it as far as the gossip goes, but I'll do it carefully. A couple years ago, I was accused and gossiped about for something that was totally not how it went down. And I've also been gossiped about in all kinds of different ways. Everyone has. Everyone has. And it can destroy your character. It can destroy connections with people that you really care about, and it hurts when they believe that kind of stuff. What's up, Cheryl? And I've known that for a long time. So what I do when I have a beef with somebody personally, I try very hard not to talk to anybody else about the beef, because it would end up being gossip. I try to directly deal with the situation with the person privately. And if it can't get resolved, it can't get resolved. But what I guess what I'd like to say about the gossip and about speculation and false accusation and all these different things, the next time that you hear somebody trash somebody else that's supposedly a friend or supposedly someone they knew or whatnot, and they just want to share their side and just trash that person so badly to everybody around them without quietly trying to heal the situation with the person that they're apparently trying to destroy, there's a reason. And if the other person isn't saying anything, it's not because they're guilty. Maybe they're just taking the grace road. So, you know, I've heard a lot of bad stuff and things that people have behind my back have accused me of that aren't true. And isn't it so wonderful to experience a government that we're really down, or at least trying to be down, with making sure that gossip doesn't reign and speculation doesn't reign. Because usually the gnarly people that just want to win for their own nefarious reasons create the gossip themselves. They don't really want to heal anything with the person that apparently they have a beef with. So it was really great to experience that. So the three of us had the introduction, and then we went back to the holding tank. The holding tank of the jurors. There was like 70 of us, but there were three of us that just really connected. And, you know, sometimes we think, oh, we're going to waste our entire day on jury duty. It's going to be a total waste, no point in it. And we're closed off the entire day, and we don't want to talk to anyone because we're all upset, and we're thinking of all the things we're missing out. And, you know, by the three of us being open, we had the most amazing day of spending time talking about real stuff with each other, you know, opening up about different things that are going on in our lives that we could really use maybe some advice on, or just get a really good, honest opinion, or just connect, you know. And we went out to lunch, we got food, and we went back in this beautiful courtyard. If you've ever been to the courtyard in Pittsburgh, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I mean, check out my Instagram. It's 634 Instagram. I posted a couple videos, like really quick videos on it. It was gorgeous. And we sat there in the courtyard, and you know, we just talked about all kinds of different things, life and whatnot. And you know, sometimes when we think that we're going through a situation that would be gnarly, it ends up being the best blessing in the world, you know. I learned so much today, just talking with these beautiful women. And I learned a lot also about the court system, and have faith more in the court system. And that's really great. And I'm not trying to sway anybody one way or the other, however you feel. I've seen some gnarly stuff happen with police officers and whatnot. I've also seen amazing police officers that do wonderful things. So I just want to share that with you. And to add to that, which might be a triggering thing to talk about, there's a lot of speculation going on in the media that really has not gone through the justice system. There's a lot of gossip. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of quick to jump to the conclusion to hang somebody. And at this point, I don't think I need to say any names. I think you guys know who I'm talking about, and the different people I'm talking about. I'm not one way or the other, but I do see things. And if there's anybody that really wants to push an agenda to throw someone under the bus with false accusations without it really going through the court system, and it really being brought to light what's going on. And yet they themselves have clearly a history of serious criminality, serious cover-ups, and dead bodies around them. Who do you really want to be behind? Because if we lose a government that truly believes that someone is truly innocent until they're proven guilty, and it has to be absolutely 100% behind, beyond a doubt. If we lose that, we're going to be just like the most insane, corrupt country that you can imagine. It will become a witch hunt of anybody that is accused of something that there may be no truth to it, but somebody doesn't like them. Somebody's going to gain something from their death, and they're totally okay with that. And they throw them under the bus, and they got a lot of power behind them. Do you think that we're freer for that, or do you think that we're more in bondage for that kind of mentality? So there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and I'm just one person, but I'm trying to keep my eyes open as much as possible. And I'm just asking all of you, because you're smart. I mean, dude, I know most of you. You guys are freaking amazing. Smart, freaking creative. You have a huge heart. You care about what's going on in the world. But we gotta be wary that there are certain people that say one thing, but what they are doing is a totally opposite thing. So there. I don't know if I want to go any deeper than that right now. I could. But I'm a little bit gun shy of going any deeper because I was watching, you know what? Okay, I got 20% battery here. All right, so I was watching. I'm gonna post this this TED Talk that I was listening to on my way back from jury duty. And by the way, I did get picked. Cool. All right, so that's good. I can't talk about it. And on my way back from this amazing day of just experiencing what happened and listening to what the judge was talking about with innocence until proven guilty, and really taking that in, and also comparing it to what the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, and all these wonderful affiliates that love to create guilt before anything else. Did I go too far? Did I say anything bad? Are these folks that are really down with innocence until proven guilty? No, they're not. They're trying to train everyone to believe that their speculation is more important than the truth. And they're trying to train everybody. I'm going there. F it. I'm going there. The mainstream media, and if you're sick and tired of hearing mainstream media, deal with it. It's a freaking fact. We're getting systematically brainwashed to believe, and if you don't like the word brainwash, I'm sorry, it's happening. So many people believe that speculation is more important than truth. They believe what they create in their minds as a real story is more important than what really happened. And then they immediately jump to guilt, and that's it. And who encourages that? Look behind who encourages that kind of mentality. And they're the ones that tell you that you're going to be free for following it, and you're not. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to post the TED Talk in the comment below on this video. What's up? So this TED Talk that I was listening to on the bus on the way back from jury duty was all about leadership and really understanding our perceptions and what triggers us and what makes us perceive something to be right or wrong, jump to conclusions, speculation. They could sometimes sabotage us for the bigger good. That happens a lot, right? I know that's happened to me. Sometimes I've been put in a certain leadership position, and I start thinking the worst. I start getting angry when somebody isn't fair, or someone does something wrong. Like, I get angry. What is angry? People talk about anger being a bad thing. Oh, I'll never be angry. I'm not an angry person. I never get angry. Well, he defines anger, and this is important. He defines anger as a feeling of injustice, or feeling as though the circumstances that you're around are inherently unfair, and your first reaction is to fight for that, fight for the fairness, fight for the freedom. Is that a bad thing? Inherently, no, it's not. So why are we inherently being told that innately, if you get angry about a situation, that the anger is the problem, not the situation? Does it divert us from understanding that our anger is a physical reaction from a mental state of realizing that there's injustice happening? It's a good point. So the next time that someone gets angry, instead of going, they're the bad guy because they're just physically angry, maybe there's a reason behind their anger. Maybe they are getting dealt a really nasty blow. Maybe they are the victim of speculation and gossip that's destroying their character, and they see it. What's up, Tommy? They're not the bad guy if they're inherently angry, if someone's literally throwing them under the bus. If you are being thrown under the bus, I mean, let's talk about it, okay? Let's say hypothetically that let me think of a very neutral situation. Let's say that you were at your job, whatever that is, and you were doing so well, and you had this project that you were in charge of, okay? Maybe there was a competitor that was so jealous of how, and you just seem to be able to flow. You're just, a lot of times when you're really in it, hey Michael, sometimes when you're really in it with your heart being completely connected to your work, there's just a natural flow. It doesn't even feel like work. You're just there. And your leaders notice it. Your bosses notice it. And they're like, wow, what you're doing is amazing. Well, you know what else you're going to get are the jealous people. The people that are very competitive. And so they start gossip about you. They'll find anything and everything to try to tear you down. They don't care about the bigger picture. They don't look at what you're doing to create a more prosperous company for everybody, which includes the competitor, to have a bigger salary, because whatever your idea is going to be is going to benefit everybody. They don't look at it that way because they want the attention. And it's all about them. And they feel threatened about what you're doing. What's up, Mara? So what they do is they try to find any kind of gossip, anything, true or not. Probably most of the time it's made up. Because are you really going to sit there and talk to your employees or whatever, like people with all the different things that you do? I do. I'm very open, and that's why I get screwed a lot, because I'm just like, hey, this is me, this is what I do. And then people are like, oh, she drinks a glass of wine at night. She must be a freaking alcoholic. You see? because they feel threatened by my openness. So let's go back to here you are at work doing amazing things because you are connected with what you know in your heart you want to do, and everyone sees it and you're just making it happen, and there's a competitor in your company that just wants to destroy you because they are threatened that you're going to take away what they want. They want to succeed in the company. They don't know how to do a good project because they're thinking too much about themselves all the time. Right? The best people in a company don't think about themselves. They think about the idea. They're about the idea. They're not about themselves. The people that throw other people under the bus, they're about themselves and not about the idea. Okay? So they go around the office and they talk. Oh, you know what? You know, she's come up with this really great idea, or he's come up with this really great idea, and it seems like people are catching on to it. But I'll tell you what, I've heard that behind closed doors, she's screwing so-and-so. Look at how, she's kind of hot, and don't you see how those guys are looking? I bet you she's getting it because she's screwing the boss. Or let's talk about a guy. Oh, he's doing really, really great and all that stuff, and that's great, but, I've heard that he's doing his secretary. Why is she so loyal? Why are all these things happening for him? Is that real? Is that the truth? No. Does it destroy lives? Yeah. Is this what happens every day in life? Yeah. Does it happen in politics? Yeah. Does it happen in every single form of our humanity? Yeah. 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 So, don't be so quick to listen to speculation. And thank goodness that our government's not like that. I mean, for the most part. And maybe we can apply that to ourselves in our own communities. Next time you hear someone gossiping about someone, don't be too quick to think that it's the truth. There's probably an angle. Anywho, I've talked enough. Hey Heidi, what's up? I've talked enough, and the point of these videos is that, and Tommy, I'm not, Tommy, I know you're listening. He contacted me a couple months ago, and he was like, with all the different things that you're talking about, it's really hard for some folks to really understand where you're coming from when you write it down. They may read it the wrong way. And maybe if you do videos where, people can hear your intent, just like in human life, you hear someone's intent, it gets taken a different way. I'm not about hate. I'm not about throwing anyone under the bus. I'm not about, saying that other people don't matter in any way, shape, or form. I'm just asking questions and actually challenging those that actually do want to devalue other people and do want to destroy other folks through no truth whatsoever for their own benefit. I'll tell you a personal story about getting thrown under the bus. So in college, I wasn't part of any kind of sorority or fraternity, but I was friends with a lot of different fraternities and sororities. I was kind of like that loner that I just kind of shifted around all the different people. I loved everybody, but I didn't want to really commit to one group or another because I liked everybody. So I didn't really want to go, oh, well, she's only that person or she's only that person. So I was just a floater, and I was like the connector to a lot of different groups in college. And apparently it seems to be my case throughout life. Anywho. So I did join my sophomore year of college there was a co-ed community service fraternity. Okay? It was called Lambda Sigma. And the purpose of Lambda Sigma was specifically to community service. And I loved it. And I became president of this fraternity, which was co-ed. Okay? I was very committed to making sure that we made the most money and also gave the most money of any other classes before us. And so we'd come up with all kinds of new ideas to raise money that would help, hey Amanda, what's up? That would help the student body, but also we would raise the money to help the student body, but then also be able to do all the humanitarian services that we wanted to be able to do. So we came up with this idea of student gift bags during finals week, and it made a ton of money. And so we made the most amount of money that semester that I was running as president that any past, Lambda Sigma group had made in the fraternity. So we're like, how are we going to spend this? What are we going to do? So there was one particular girl that was always angry that she didn't get to become president. And she was part of the fraternity. Now, I didn't have any control of becoming president, and honestly, I never thought that anyone would ever vote for me. I mean, I was the dork in high school and in middle school. No one liked me. I was not popular. I guess I was sort of popular in high school, not really, but definitely not in middle school. And so I never expected anyone to really vote for me for that, but I had a heart for what the mission was for the fraternity. And I guess the speech that I had, that I shared with the group when they had to vote, touched them. And they realized that I wasn't about me. I wasn't about my own ambition in the situation. I was truly committed to the mission statement of this fraternity that we joined, and that I really truly wanted to make it the best possible, not for myself, but for all of us. This girl didn't have that, and I'm not judging her, okay? But the fact of the matter is that she was very, very self-centered. She approached the idea of being president of this fraternity in a very selfish manner. She wanted power. She wanted something to write on her resume. But she didn't give a shit about actually doing something good for the community. She just wanted to win, just for winning's sake. And when she lost in becoming president of Lambda Sigma, naturally she was still a member, okay? So any single time there was a vote that she knew I was really for, that really brought the student body at Penn State together. I went to Penn State, okay? So this was a Penn State co-ed community service fraternity, all right? Any single time she knew there was my idea of something really good to share with the community that we could do, she automatically, it didn't matter if it was really good or not, she automatically just campaigned to destroy it. Think about that. Don't you think that happens in world politics? We have to really look at the players. And if someone doesn't win, do they want to just burn everything? And shouldn't we notice those kind of folks? King Solomon, I'm going to go biblical. I'm not trying to preach, but I'm going biblical here. Are you ready? Bring it down. King Solomon, what was one of his first judiciary things he had to deal with. He's hanging out. He's got the whole world. He's good to go. You got 2 women showing up, and they're freaking out. One baby's dead. One baby's alive. Didn't mean to give you the middle finger. One baby's dead. One baby's alive. And these 2 women are fighting over the live baby. Right? Well, thank God King Solomon, as a natural leader, smart as all get out, he knows how to figure it out. He goes, all right. Each one of you are saying that you're the mother. Why don't I split this baby in half, and then you guys can just share it? The real mother says, let her have it. Don't do that to my baby. The fake mother says, yes. Do it. Just remember that when you listen to people in politics or in power. Who's willing to win at any cost and destroy the whole world? And what do we support? Do we want to support the woman who saves her own baby? Or do we want to support a kind of person that would split a baby in half to win? So that's all I got. That's all I got. The rest of it, I'm just going to hang out tonight and maybe do a little bit of painting or whatnot. I just hope that you guys have a little bit more belief in our current system. We're not being told all the stories on the ground. And so if I can share what's happening on the ground with me, and maybe it can be uplifting and insightful, and it's honest. I mean, you guys know I'm not going to bullshit you. I mean, it's happening. This is what's happening, you know. Then that's great, you know. So there you go. All right. I don't know what else to say. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great night.